Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about the Kala Sarpa Yoga, which essentially means time serpent yoga. Because when we're talking about Rahu and Ketu, the Rahu being the north node of the moon and Ketu being the south node of the moon, we're talking about the serpent. Rahu is the head of the serpent, while Ketu is the tail of the serpent. And in mythology, the way that this occurred is this serpent slithered in to partake of the nectar of the gods. And before the serpent was noticed, Lord Shiva threw a disc that cut it in half. And because it drank the nectar of immortality, it survived. So we have this quality of being in karma. This is a karmic aspect. Because what a Kala Sarpa Yoga simply is when you have all the planets on one side of Rahu and Ketu. And this does not include the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. It is only the planets that are visible to the naked eye that have to be on one side of Rahu and Ketu. Now, many believe there's two different theories that when a planet is conjunct Rahu and Ketu, that it's not the Kala Sarpa Yoga, but I disagree because I've seen so many prime examples that when planets are conjunct, whether they're before or after Rahu or Ketu, that it is still a Kala Sarpa Yoga. Some call it a partial Kala Sarpa. One way or another, in my book, it is Kala Sarpa. So, in other words, planets that are in the same sign as Rahu and Ketu will still count, but all the planets have to be on one side. And what this means in this time serpent yoga is that things happen that appear and feel fated, because this is a life of extremes. And actually, what I feel is when you have the Kala Sarpa Yoga, things in life are off the charts. In other words, things happen in extremes. All of the other yogas that may be in a chart, such as a Raja Yoga for leadership, such as Dana Yogas for wealth and money, as Arista Yogas for suffering, all of these things become magnified when someone has a Kala Sarpa Yoga. So if you don't understand all of the things I'm talking about, just to know if all the planets, excluding the outer planets, are on one side of Rahu and Ketu, you will know that you have the Kala Sarpa Yoga. And so many famous people have it because to arise to such fame, generally many people have this. To give some examples of people with the Kala Sarpa Yoga, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, President Bush, George W. Bush, that is, Sylvester Stallone. I mean, people that have these lives that one minute they can be down and the next minute they can rise to the extremes of success. Another one, Donald Trump. So what you're seeing with these people is many times, and with the Kala Sarpa, you will have a major fall. But the cool thing about this is usually, almost always, they have a rise that far exceeds the loss that they endured. So there are these extremes of highs and lows. But when they hit rock bottom, they rise higher than they were before. This is something I have discovered from the many, many chart readings I've done. I mean, to see some of the people, the rise and fall is just phenomenal. But it isn't easy. Another person that I can think of that has a Kala Sarpa Yoga in their chart is Michael Milken. And for those of you who don't know, he was a junk bond king. He was a thief. He was thrown in prison for bonds, for Ponzi schemes. And he paid like $1 billion in restitution fees, went to prison. While he was in prison, he made $1 billion back through the creation of Project Knowledge. He did some online educational development and made $1 billion while he's in prison. How can you go from the bottom and rise to the top again? Kala Sarpa Yoga is one of the explanations, probably not the only explanation, but it does depict an extreme in life, and it does depict rise and fall. But when you fall, you rise again to a higher position than before. And one of the reasons why I know this is I have it in my chart, and I can account for many times of rising to a higher level than the drop-off point was before. So Kala Sarpa represents a certain destiny, a certain extreme, a certain karma. And let me tell you, if you go to India with this and have someone look at your chart, they will say you need 1,000,000 pujas and yagas because you'll never, ever overcome this karma. I tend to disagree, simply because growth and transformation can overcome an awareness, any obstacles that we see in life. Because remember, some of the greatest saints and some of the greatest seers said, astrology is true and valid and works, but there is nothing more powerful than the will of man. So you're not doomed if you have a Kala Sarpa Yoga, and I can attest for that. But remember, when you have it, also, the planets that are conjunct the nodes, either Rahu or Ketu, are going to be instrumental in how you can overcome, or how one can overcome the Kala Sarpa Yoga. Those planets with Rahu or Ketu are instrumental in the direction that this change must occur. So with this little tidbit of information, I hope that you will see things differently in some of the charts that you look at, especially with Kala Sarpa Yoga. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on learning Vedic astrology that will take you to the depths of learning and understanding of this great science, go to my university, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. And if you would like to learn more about me, if you would like a reading, you can always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. And I have a magazine if you would like to read more articles on these subjects. And it is astrologicmagazine.com. Thank you.